Hello, friends. Carrie and I are here because we're going to talk about what is different about this aligned up level as opposed to the last one. Because, Carrie, we haven't even talked about this yet for those of you watching. This is just totally fresh. The one thing I enticed Carrie with to have this combo is the term Aries season. Like, we're both Aries, we're a couple days apart. Elizabeth, who works with me, is an Aries. Like, I'm surrounded by them, and I'm kind of an atypical Aries. I think Carrie is more of a stereotypical Aries. But
Yes.
anyway, the energy that comes with that is like the ferocity of movement and action and enlivenment and excitement. For me, anyway, that's what sums up what's different about this aligned up level. I feel like last time we did the basics. This is how you create your reality, which was amazing, but it was more gentle. It was softer. It was more like womb, like, and now I feel like I'm ready to go. Like, I'm ready to like get into action. So I promise I'll let Carrie speak in a second, but I am excited about this aligned up level because I feel like it's more of a springboard. That was like a go within, set up your daily practice, like really understand how you create your world. And this is like, okay, you've got a platform now. Let's dive in.
Okay, I'm so excited to talk about this because one, I know I'm a typical Aries, but I actually don't pay that much attention to like astrology. So I don't even know what that means. I just know like I remember in my 20s somebody I was dating reading like what an Aries is about to me and being like, "Oh, yeah, I'm 100% that." Like, "Oh, that's totally me." And so some of those things I wonder like I feel like maybe I've outgrown in my evolution. But so it's interesting, right, to hear you talk about like Aries season and what that means. And I don't even know what it means, but I know that springtime is Aries season. Like right now is like, yes, that's just how I feel about life right now. In terms of one of the things that I love, and I think is very Aries about me, is the energy of potential. Is that like feeling possibilities and like bubbling up with excitement about those possibilities. Is that an Aries thing or is that just a me thing?
I think I think that's a Aries thing because it kind of like, well, so here's an example. Let me know if this is what you mean. So I've recently been getting into the whole world of like cinema production. Nothing, I don't know anything about it whatsoever. And so I was like, I'm going to shoot my first feature this summer and I'm going to buy a cinema camera and like learn everything about this. And what that is turning into is I'm shooting a short film and I'm renting a cinema camera. But it's happening. More is happening than not. So
Okay, so so it is what I'm talking about. It is that like getting so like hair on fire excited about something that you've got to move forward. Or for me, it usually manifests in sometimes it manifests in me taking action moving forward, but my action oftentimes is telling other people about it. Like being like shouting from the rooftops, this is amazing, everyone has to know about it. Okay, so what does this have to do with the aligned up level? Honestly, I just feel like just like us, the event is evolving and that it has gone from the energy that needed to happen at the beginning of the year, which was a deep freaking breath, right? And a return to ourselves and remembering how to experience ourselves and like understanding the truth and the freaking magic of who we are. And it was amazing. And if you didn't come to the first aligned up level, like it's not that we're not going to do that. It's that and the springtime energy, the Aries season that, what's coming up in my intuitive art drawings recently is a color that I didn't even know I had a meaning for until it started coming up. And it's basically the color of your hair. Rachel. And what that color means to me, I keep writing the words passionate self care. And I don't even know if those words do the feeling justice. I've heard someone else call it like radical self love. And it's that too, but it's like doing the juicy, amazing, good stuff that lights your soul on fire. And not sometimes when you hear like self care, you think like, oh, get a massage or and it's like, no, 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 caring for the needs of my soul and my spirit and my excitement. And yeah, that's what Aries season feels like to me. And that's what I'm excited about is nurturing that feeling through the aligned up level, like getting clarity on what that feeling is and what to do with it when you get it and what in your life makes you feel that
Yes. Yeah, one thing that we're going to talk about is this idea of being full of yourself. You know, we work with people who have this idea that there is a bad way to do that. There is an egoic way of doing that. And sure, but that way isn't going to feel good. This way is going to feel like you've returned to yourself, like you are acting in alignment with who you really are, like you're excited and relaxed about life at the same time. Like, this is where I'm always, I guess for me, that's like my edge. I'm always wanting to be more full of myself because the opposite of that is insecure, doubting myself, not doing what really lights me up. And that's, I know, not what I want. It's not what you want. But it can be difficult to fully embody yourself and to be in that place. Like, I just went to my coffee shop and we know each other well. Like, we're regulars there. It's amazing. They're such wonderful people. But when I walked in, one of them was like, "Oh, hey, Rachel, living the dream." I'm like, yeah, but it kind of tripped me up. And I even said, which is so weird for me, like, "Oh, but hopefully not in a braggy way." Like, that came out of my mouth. I don't brag. I don't, but there's always that part of us that doesn't want to appear to be too different or like we have it all figured out or like our lives are better than anyone else's, right? That's not the place we're coming from, of course, but we're sometimes afraid of what other people are going to think about us. So, this practice, living in alignment, acting in alignment, creating our life and our expectations and our goals and our plans in that big potential of who we are, it takes some practice, even for the people who are doing it all the time. So, I'm always learning. Obviously, I learn from all of you, I learn from Carrie, I learn from life. And when we all get together in one place, I think that's when we do the most learning. It's that idea of a mastermind. It's like more powerful focus when we all do it at the same time. So, yeah, this idea of being full of yourself, there's so much power in that. Don't you ever feel that power when you're there? Like you're just on fire, you're doing it. It's amazing. Like you're lit up. That's incredible.
way. And that's the thing. I think, especially as women, we're kind of told, don't do that too much. Don't spend too much time there. Don't like, and what Rachel and I have learned is the more time we spend the better and better and better and better our lives get. And that is when, we talk a lot. One of the best things about coming to the line up level is noticing how much of what you want literally comes to you when you just be in alignment, when you're living it, when you are full of yourself and full of yourself in the best way, in the way that is know your own amazingness, right? You know your own amazingness so much, and you're actually just in awe and appreciation of who you are and of everything around you that there's no need to like act like you're full of yourself if that makes sense. When we talk about that in our go ahead.
I was just saying it's natural. It's not like you're doing something on purpose. It's just natural.
Yes, but when we talk about being full of ourselves in our society, it tends to come up like someone has to tell you how great they are in order to make you feel bad or something, right? We're not talking about that. We're talking about like knowing, just being, living in appreciation of yourself and the world that you inhabit and the life that you're creating, and living in a state of like near constant surprise and delight. And it's funny because when Rachel and I talk about this, we're always like, isn't that like so amazing? I mean, actually, we totally expected it, but it's still surprising. It's living there. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I mean, so to finish my story, I guess, not that you cut me off, I just didn't say it. Like, so after I said that, like, oh, but not braggy, hopefully, they were like, oh no, I'm totally here for it. Like, do that, be that. And that's really the lesson. I don't ever feel necessarily like I'm self-conscious about it, but apparently I am because that came up for me. But I also know that the more I embody myself and I am openly living my best life, living the dream, then it's inspiring other people. Because Carrie and I tend to watch, or maybe just her kids watch and she's aware of, but this YouTuber named Colleen Ballinger, and she's been talking a lot lately about how she has been explicitly told not to talk about her success. She's been a huge success on YouTube and she tours around the world as her character, and she had her own Netflix show for 2 seasons, and she's accomplished amazing things. And yet she was told by so many people in the industry, like, never talk about it, never bring it up. You're a bad person if you talk about your success. And so she's really scarred from that. And I want to say to her, like, no, tell me more. Tell me, how did you do that? What were you thinking? What were you doing? I want to know. Like, tell me your numbers. How many views did you get? Because that's exciting to me to see someone else succeed. So I think we all kind of need to bolster each other when we have those moments of doubt or when we remember a mean thing someone said to us once, because I think it's important to really be where we are. I don't have everything figured out. I'm not the master of everything, or maybe even nothing, but I love my life. I love what I have going on. And I love that I have the freedom to investigate these new areas when I feel called into something different or something bigger. So, you know, I'm happy to provide a safe space for you all to do that and encourage that. And I want to hear about that. One of the things that we're doing on the second day is a dream casting call with Carrie, where you get to join us in this like go-to meeting, this exact room, in fact. And Carrie will help you amplify your dreams and help you get into the feeling of them already happening. And that creates a really powerful magnet, and it creates muscle memory for you to return there and to know, oh, that's what my dreams feel like. I can go there. I can go there tomorrow and the next day and the next day. And when you do that, you build this momentum. And like Harry said, everything comes to you. Everything you see around you is magnetized to you because that's the vibrational makeup you have. But when you change that vibrational makeup, which is exactly what we show you how to do, you bring different things into your life. That's where the surprise and delight comes in. Like, you were hoping that that's what you were doing, but now you actually get to see it and feel it, and it's in an even better form than you could have imagined. So it's a simple process, but it takes focus, because when we're not doing something, that's our momentum. That's what's moving forward. When we change that focus, it's harder to keep going back there at first because we need to build that momentum. But when we do that for 2 whole days in a group, that's exactly what happens. And then things change in your world because you've already changed. The changes are the easy part. This vibrational change, that's the part that needs the work.
And that's why we call it an up level, right? Is because it isn't, I don't know, you've probably had these moments, and I kind of feel like Aries energy, to bring it back to our theme, right, is I feel like that's kind of what it is, at least for me, when I'm fully experiencing myself, which my Aries self, I guess, and I'm in that hot pink feeling. It it feels like a quantum leap, right? It feels like a massive jump up the scale. And it feels, I mean, it's the best feeling, you guys. It is like suddenly everything's figured out and I know what I'm doing and I have the energy to do it. And it's like the best. Like, I'm not kidding when I talk about like a springtime energy, because it's, I don't know, I feel like winter is kind of sleepy and cold and under a blanket. And then all of a sudden I'm like running hard through a field of flowers. It's a very distinct feeling difference. But what I was going to say is, what Rachel, you just talked about is this idea of shifting momentum. And you can do it on your own. You can. You can totally do it on your own. And it's incremental and it's deliberate and it's just having processes. Um, or you could do like an intensive, right? You could spend it, you could do it. It's, I want to say intensive, but it's more like immersive experience with us, and have 2 days that feel like that. You used the word springboard earlier. Like, yes, this is like rocket fuel for your vibration. I don't know if that's quite the right, that may be a little too strong of a metaphor because I'm imagining rocket fuel would feel a little intense, but it's, um, it's that it will feel like a quantum leap. Like, it'll be the weirdest, most wonderful experience, because it'll be like, on the one hand, you'd be like, well, I don't, what did we do? What exactly did we do for these 2 days? And on the other hand, you'll be like, oh my God, that was life changing. And it is, it's like, it's like jumping out of the covers and running out into the springtime is the way that I'm explaining it. I don't even know if that is hitting home for anyone, but that's what, this particular energy right now feels like. Um, Yeah. And I don't know about you. Maybe there's some of you who are like, no, dude, I just want to like get under the covers. And that's cool. But I really love living in the energy of experiencing, one, my own potential, two, which is better than my own potential, if that's even possible, the magical things that show up. The magical things that show up. And I use the word magical, even though I know full well it's not magic, right? I know it's not a trick. It is like a direct result of living in the vibration of what I want. I have one more thing to say, and I don't know where this fits into our video, Rachel, but I thought about it this morning, and then you and I decided to have this conversation, so I feel like I need to say it. I don't even know if I told this on our live stream last week, but let's see if I can make this metaphor make sense. Um, we're told a lot. Well, just feel what it feels like to have your dreams. We're told that all the time. And I used to be like, okay, I'm going to try and feel what it feels, what $1 million feels like, or what being a, super successful feels like. But I couldn't access that feeling. It actually only made me feel worse. It made me feel far away from my dreams because I I didn't know what $1 million felt like. I didn't know what I would feel like when I was there. I just, it just made me feel very far away from my dreams. And I love what we do at the aligned up level is because we actually connect people to that feeling. where it's not a vacuum. You're not in a space of like, I don't know what $1 million feels like. How do I feel like that? And that would put me into anxiety and in like, I think I might feel like this. Okay, when I have $1 million, I will feel like it put me in a really weird place. And what I love is, and actually that advice isn't wrong. Like feel what, like it's the perfect advice. It's just, I didn't know how. And that's what we spend 2 days doing. We spend 2 days getting you safe and calm and at home and relaxed and open in the feeling of whatever it is that you want. That's the magic.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the last thing I want to say is, you know, some people might look at me and think, oh, manic. Like, you have all these dreams, you're always doing different things, you must be working all the time, you must be like crazed. And, even Carrie, like, so one of my really amazing, like, favorite vibrations is exhilaration. I love exhilaration, like meeting a new collaborator, having a new idea for something exhilarates me, like zip all the way up my body. I love that feeling. But I remember Carrie once said, this was years ago, so she probably doesn't feel this way anymore, but she's like, oh, I just want peace. But to me, and as you become more integrated, those are the same thing. You can experience such high highs without feeling manic or off center because you are connected and you have this tremendous sense of inner peace and happiness and satisfaction and contentment that's always there. So it allows you to feel these like enthusiastic feelings without losing any of your perspective, without losing your intuitive guidance, and like without losing sleep, your free time. I always say this. I probably have more going on right now than I ever have in my life. More jobs, more classes that I'm taking, more things like in the works, more client. I have more. Everything's bigger, but because I've learned how to manage my life vibrationally as opposed to simply physically, it keeps feeling easier. And I've heard this a lot in my learning about online business. They always say it's easier to make more money than less money. And that's true with life in general. It's easier to have a bigger life if you know how to do it, if you're connected internally. So I think a lot of people, they're afraid of enthusiasm. They're afraid of having big dreams because they feel like they don't even have time for their regular life. How the hell are they going to do these big, crazy things? Like, that's impossible. But I just want you to know that as you live a more internal to outternal life, external, that didn't make sense, but you live more for yourself, you become more integrated, you become more vibrationally aware, life gets way easier and way more effective. Did that do it?
I think so. Well, you clarified something for me, anyways, because I was like, oh, yes, I live in peaceful exhilaration now. Sorry, Brady's making so much noise. He's like cooking or something. He's really sorry. It's okay, bud. But the other thing that you said, or the thing that I recognize is, oh, you did remind me of that feeling of being when I would get super excited or passionate or feel that spark of desire in myself. I didn't know how to maintain that enthusiasm because I didn't have the foundation of peace, right? I didn't have that. And so my enthusiasm quickly turned to overwhelm, overwork, burnout. Like it turned into other things because I didn't have the foundation or the capacity, right, to hold the bigness of what I wanted to create. And so it's fun to recognize that in a lined up level, we're helping people with both. right? We're helping people over the 2 days. You can't participate and not have your capacity increase. You just can't. And that foundation of peace, like that is something I was craving it, but I thought it was an either or. I thought I could only be excited or peaceful. And the reality is, like, my most exciting life is pretty dang, it's like pretty chill. It's pretty peaceful. And that is, I don't know if, so I'm hopeful whoever's listening to this can hear that. I don't know if I could have heard it a few years ago, but it was enough if you had promised me, just come and you'll finally find some peace without having to die. Right? That's we get to the place where, like, rest in peace, bro. Oh, she's finally at peace. Like, wouldn't it be great to not have to die?
Oh my God, I never put that together before, but yes.
We'd prefer you didn't have to die before you could, like, rest in peace and have and live. I mean, we think this is crazy. This goes into something else, but we talk about, like, when you die, then you get to experience, um, what is it, paradise, right? Like, you get to experience. There's another word for it. I can't think of it. I know heaven, but I'm thinking of the other one that is like this utopian place, right? But, like, or we could create that now so we don't have to die to feel peaceful and exhilarated.
Yeah.
So join us. Come.
Yeah, yeah. Like, come join us if you work, if you can't make it, buy the recordings or just rewatch it over the weekend. The recordings will be up until Sunday night, so you have some time. I mean, being there live is best because then you can talk to us. But if you can't, that's okay. Or you can buy the recordings and have them forever. And what I do is I just put them on in my car. I listen to them when I'm taking a walk because this is a practice, this is a lifestyle. You can have an aligned up level as many times as you want. And it's really just about going deeper within yourself. And that never ends, like there's more relaxation you can feel, there's more excitement you can feel, there's more clarity you can feel. It's a big scale. Like, there isn't just clarity and that's it. It's a very beautiful unfolding process that never ends, and it's really fun. So come and enjoy our Aries spirits and inject some peace and some enthusiasm into your life.
Thanks, Rachel.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, folks, see you in a couple days.